Alright, today I'm going to be showing you how to do the rear brakes on a 2012 3500 Chevy Dually. This is the gas one, so I think it should be similar to the diesel ones. Now this should be similar to all the previous years and probably the newer ones too, similar in designs. Now what I'm going to be doing is replacing the caliper and the brake pads and rotors. So you're going to kind of see basically two videos in one on this. So if you see me doing something that's kind of like, oh, what the heck is he doing, don't mind that, because I might not pay attention to your video for the people that are replacing just the caliper or just doing a pad slap. You can't just do the pad slap, which will be fine. You will need like an Allen wrench, but it is a tight fit, if I can remember. But pretty much we'll go ahead and start this video after the intro. And if you haven't already, comment down below if you have any questions already on this. Like and share the video for more people to be aware of this kind of work. Again, this is like a new updated version, so this is gonna be a quicker, I know what to do on this process, so this will be my second time doing it. And then hit that subscribe button for more upcoming videos in the future, and we'll go ahead and start this video right after the intro. So pretty much tools we're going to be needing. You're going to need a bucket. Obviously it doesn't have to be that big. A little bit, we're only going to be using a little bit of wheel bearing grease. You can actually use electric grease too as well, but I'm just using the wheel bearing grease because I have that. We're going to need some brake cleaner, some brake grease for the pads, and then some red Loctite. Then we're going to need a 20mm. This will be taking off the whole caliper bracket. We're going to need a pick to take off one of the center lock hubs. We're going to need a wire brush to clean up the area. We're going to need obviously the caliper tool. You can rent these from AutoZone. Part number is 27111. We're going to need a pry bar. We might not need it. We probably will. Sometimes the rotor will get stuck just because of the seals holding it in place. And then there's a paper gasket that you could be replacing. That's right here in this area. So once we take this off, there's actually a paper gasket. If you didn't want to replace the paper gasket, you can actually use silicone. I'm using Toyota FIPG. This works great for that type of stuff. Bring a flathead, a screwdriver. I'm using a 2.5 pound hammer. That's just in case if I need to break it apart from that. And then we're gonna need a 7/8 socket, 18mm socket, and a 17mm socket, a magnet, and a whiteout. That's pretty much what we're gonna need for this job, and obviously the parts too as well. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start off. Alright, so for jacking up points, my main jack up is gonna be from the differential. I'm using the 2.5 pound jack. This is a new jack, so it's not really old. I literally just got it today. It's a Harbor Freight one, so it worked out pretty well. I would recommend a 3-ton jack to be a little bit more strong for that. I mean, it felt kind of weak, but still it did its job. I was just kind of like more iffy about it. And now be careful for your surroundings. Like obviously I'm being on asphalt, so the jack kind of sinked in. And then I had a second jack to just reinforce one side because I'm using my other jacks. So as for jack stand, you want to put that on the tube seal as a reinforcement. And then for the other jack, you can actually, where that bolt is on the bottom of the stud where that nut is, you can actually lift it up from there. And then I still have these still in the air just supporting that. So just like that, as you can see, that's where it's being supported at, just the nut. So basically I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this. So basically I'm just going to take off these lug nuts, and then I'm going to let the wheel, this hub, do the work. I'm not going to hold the rim. I'm not going to try to lift it out. It's just too heavy. And then we're going to let this slide. Now obviously there's one outer and then there's one inner wheel, so you can either mark it or put the outer wheel first, like laying down, and then put the inner wheel laying on top of that, so you don't get confused, so you're not putting this on backwards. So we're going to go ahead and take off these lug nuts. So those are going to be the 7/8. You can see this is pretty torn up. The workers actually neglect this, like pad's not even there anymore. Pad's gone. So basically what we're gonna go ahead and do, since this is kind of sticking out, so it's gonna make it a little bit more harder. Basically we're gonna go ahead and take this bolt off. This is gonna be the caliper bracket. And then same thing for right under there. We're gonna go ahead and take that one off. And then we're gonna let it sit on our jack. This is pretty heavy. Do not let it sit on the cable itself because you will destroy that. And just let it sit on something. So this is actually a perfect spot where I have that. If not, you can actually use probably your toolbox or something to sit it on and then work around it. So again, this is a 20 millimeter. We're gonna go ahead and take that off. So this bolt's gonna be kind of pretty tight and it's kind of hard to put something that's on there. So you can be using your ratchet or something, or a wrench, and then basically you would get your hammer and then just hit it while putting some force on it. This kind of got loose because it probably got too hot. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. New caliper with bracket. So basically we want to get all this new. Now one thing about this that they don't put the hardware kit included. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. Basically, I don't want to take this off. This just makes it more of a pain. So the guys with the hook like this, these are gonna kind of go on the outside. They're gonna go on the opposite. So make sure that they're not like this. You want these on the outside. So these hooks are going to be closest to the rotor, and then these ones are going to be away from the rotor. So this one is going to go right here, and you just slide these right in. And then obviously this one is going to be going away from the rotor, and then we'll slide that right in there. And then same thing for this one. That one's going to go in the rotor as well, or away from the rotor. And then there's this one, so make sure that this is gonna go away from the rotor. So basically that's how it should look in the center of this, that these tips, make sure that these are like that. Oh, there it is. There you go. So make sure those are right there. Just want to make sure that you don't get confused by that, and if not, you'll be hearing a noise. And then basically when you put on your pads, obviously we want these guys facing towards the bottom of the rotor, so we want these on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and grease this area right here and then right back there, wherever there's going to be a contact point. So obviously this is going to go on our bottom. And so what you want to do is you want to start the one with the anti-wear indicator clip. So we'll start off with that one first. Make sure that goes in. And then we'll start off with the other one. Make sure it's fully seated in too as well, because if not, you're just going to be there scratching your head. And then when you want to sit this top piece in, you're going to need your pick, and then you're just going to dig right in the hardware kit and just pry right back and just seat that right in there. And then same thing for this guy. We'll sit in the bottom first. And then we'll just basically pull this guy up just so you can see. and bam, there you have it. And then we're going to go ahead and seat in our caliper. Make sure you start off with the bottom first. And then kind of work your way. Now make sure your bleeder screw is actually up on top and not on the bottom. Because if it is up on top, then, or on the bottom, depending on which side. So on the driver's side, it needs to be up on top. And on the passenger side, obviously it needs to be up on top. But the passenger and the driver can actually be mixed. So you don't want to get that mixed up. Don't forget to put red Loctite on your bolt. And then when installing these, make sure you hit it with the hammer while pulling back so that they're on pretty tight. So we're going to go ahead and take off our banjo bolt. It should come with some new washers. If it doesn't, make sure you get those. I think you can actually reuse them. But make sure that there's one on the inside, and then the one on the outside we're gonna have to put between that and then the bracket itself. And then right here, as you can see, this is gonna be 11 millimeter, by the way. So we'll go ahead and just hit that. Now normally brake fluid should come out, but this is literally dry. Clean up your area so there's no debris in the way. So just like that, so it's nice and clean. Then we'll go ahead and put this right there. And then this guy's going to be on the inner side. And just like that. So then we're going to go ahead and tighten our bolt. Now you don't want it crazy tight. I believe 15 foot-pounds is pretty good. Go by your specs, find it out. I would keep tightening it until it's actually pretty, yeah, about 15-18 foot-pounds. That's what I feel like I'm doing. But if you strip it, that's all on you. Then we'll clean up our area, and then we got to bleed the brakes. The bleeding the brakes I'm going to have on a separate video. I'm not going to have on this video. So basically you kind of want to walk this in. You don't want to pick it up. So you just want to let it walk. And if you are going to pick it up, just kind of use your knees and have your elbows rest up on it. And then use your feet right here under the tire. So just right here, so on the bottom of it. And then basically when we tighten these bolts, you're going to do the same thing as the hub. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, if you want to see how the bleeding procedure is for this, I'll make another video on that. Just hit the subscribe button and it'll be posted up. And then I think I'm going to show the differential. I'm going to check the fluid, and the fluid's low, then I'll go ahead and show a video of that. And then I think since while I'm at it, I know I had one guy on the channel, he was asking how to do the front brakes. I'm going to go ahead and do that just as a courtesy. So if you want to see how to do the front brake pads and rotors, I will go ahead and show that. But again, if this video helped you out, don't forget to pump up your brakes. Let's say if you didn't have to go through this issue. Like I said, you're going to see like two different stories to the video. One's just for the brake pads and rotor replacement, and then obviously the other one's going to be the caliper. So this is 2-in-1 video. So if some of you are just hearing me like, what the heck? Obviously you got to bleed the brakes first, and then obviously you're just telling me just to pump up the brakes. So the ones that don't have to bleed the brakes and they didn't get that far back into this, just pump it up while the engine's running. So pump it up until it gets hard. After that, then you're good to go. Don't forget to let it break in. If you start seeing smoke coming from it, that's probably from the grease from your hands if you didn't clean up the area. So if this video helped you out, just give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions regarding this video, and then hit that subscribe button for more upcoming videos in the future. And thanks for watching.